Okay, here we go. Should be good for now. And let's just move this guy back here. Okay, so tell me about Kenya. How did your trips over there get started?
Dr. Steve Segebrecht, who is an ENT surgeon in Lawrence, had the opportunity to go to Kenya. He saw the great need there and had the idea to start taking medical teams over once a year. I was on the first medical team he took over, and it gets into you. Gets into your blood, it gets into your soul, and I've been 12 years consecutively now.
So how did you get involved with this?
Basically through Steve asking me to come the first year. After 4 years, I believe, I started being a team leader because the program grew. Not only the medical team, we branched off with a community team also.
Okay, so for the rest of it, when I ask you a question, try to frame the question in your answer because I'm cutting myself out of this. So, does that make sense?
Yep.
So don't say today, if I ask you what day it is, don't say it's Tuesday, say today is Tuesday kind of thing.
I get it.
Okay. What was the first trip like? How did you get signed up? How did you get prepared?
The first year was a very small team. We probably were not as prepared as we could have been. We didn't have all the resources on the ground and didn't know as many people there as we do now to help us. It was a little bit chaotic, but it all comes together. And, we see hundreds of people every week that were there. Now we go to 3 different locations. We do 2 days at each of 3 different locations.
Okay, let's check this, make sure that it's doing it good. Alright, I'm going to move this now. Work. Alright, now if I'm sitting here, look at my hand. Okay, that's good. Alright, that works. Okay, so what do you do when you get there?
Our itinerary usually runs that the first night we arrive in the evening, anywhere from 8 to 11, depending on which flights we come in. We go straight to a hotel in Nairobi and spend the night there. The next day we get up and we travel out to Naivasha, where we stay, and Nakuru, and we do some shopping. We buy all our water for the week and supplies to make lunches and any medical supplies that we haven't brought with us.
What kind of medical supplies do you usually bring?
The medical supplies we bring with us, we bring bandages, we bring splints, we bring a lot of medicine. We do buy a lot of medicine there also because it's just so much cheaper. Like your Tylenol and ibuprofen, simple amoxicillin and stuff is a lot cheaper there. And we have a cooperative effort with Kajabi Hospital there, and they provide us medications at cost.
Okay, that's great. So let's zoom in a little bit here. She doesn't look happy. Okay, so that should be good. So, what does the work look like?
The work looks like we go to a very small rural clinic. They do have the clinic there with a clinical officer who has 3 years of training, and they make diagnoses, they deliver babies, they do small surgical procedures. We bring in specialists from the United States. We set up in that clinic. We usually do triage outside in a tent and take vital signs and stuff like that for them out there, and then they'll go to see the doctor. Dental, we do dental work also. Usually just extractions because we don't have consistent access to clean water or electricity. So we can't do any restorative work. But
And what do people show up with? What kind of conditions are they in, and what kind of need is there?
we have seen everything from high blood pressure to very large festering wounds. We've seen trauma. We saw a baby that was on the verge of death, that was 2 days old and needed to be sent to a hospital to have surgery. We have delivered babies. It's anything and everything comes through the door. We usually try to screen some of the patients by what physicians and providers we can get to come with us that year.
Okay. And then how, is this just volunteer basis? How does this
Yes.
program kind of get its funding and the logistical
Kansas to
stuff?
Kenya, Kansas to Kenya is completely volunteer based. We all pay our own way every year. To Kenya, the costs cover your flights, your transportation, your lodging, most of your meals. The only thing you need to bring with you is a little money for a couple of meals and any souvenirs you want to buy. It's fairly all inclusive.
And how long are you over there?
About 12 days we leave on a Thursday, stay over a week, and then come back on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. What's the hardest part about these trips every year?
The hardest part about these trips every year is having to turn people away. And they will come to you and beg to be seen. And it breaks my heart, and every year I cry. Every year, because I wish we could do more.
And what's been the most rewarding aspect?
The most rewarding aspect has been the relationships we have built. And with Kenyans, we have a group of Kenyans that actually take vacation from their jobs every year to come and work with us as translators or helping in the pharmacy and that kind of thing. Those relationships are incredible. And I think the Kenyans have much to teach us in the U.S. about faith, because they have so little, yet they are so joyful and so happy.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that God will provide.
Is this something that you're going to keep doing?
I have no intention of ever stopping. Until my body wears out, I guess. Yeah.
Have you brought anybody else with you that, from here?
I have. I've brought a couple of nurses that were co-workers with me. I have some students. There was a group of 4 students from Friends University that came with us one year. One of them was my daughter, and some of her friends that were all in a pre-med program. Yeah. It's good. It changes lives. This trip changes lives.
Do you feel like it's worth it for people to go if they don't have a medical background?
Yes, I absolutely feel like it's worth it, even if people don't have a medical background. We can always find things for you to do. Anybody can be taught to take a blood pressure. And there's always, people need help just as a runner, or we give out between 600 and 700 pair of reading glasses every year also. And I think besides seeing the great need and being an extra pair of hands in our clinic, it makes people see the world from a different view than from just being in the United States. You come home with a different worldview.
Mm-hmm. I can see that for sure. Okay, let's, alright, let me see how to do this best. I'm gonna change this.